Welcome to the Empower Hour for a special edition. We're coming to you outside of our normal Wednesday 2 to 3 p.m. hour, bringing to you an impactful topic of discussion with our super duper special guest in the studio with us, attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Yeah.
We needed to get you in because you have something impactful coming up really soon. And so we didn't want to waste any more time, and we wanted to get you in on a special slot to talk about, I'll let you
Thank you.
tell
Thank
us
you so much.
why we're here.
Thank you for having me and with my beautiful host here. We're in the middle of the National Black Men Convention campaign and the 10,000 Black Men's March. National Black Men's Convention is April 18th through the 22nd. It's at Shiloh Baptist Church. And on the 21st, the Saturday, the fourth day of the convention, we're at the White House for a rally against police brutality and Donald Trump and the killing in our community. The National Black Men Convention is open to the whole family. Sisters and family will be there. But it's specifically about educating, empowering, and helping to develop black men. You know, that our race has many problems, and we feel like a stronger black man is the key to solving our racial problems in general.
Beautiful. Well, I didn't start the show as we normally do with telling you who I am and who my co-host is. I am Al Kumar.
And I'm Hanifa.
Yes, and we're here with you, coming to you live on the Empower Hour. What made you decide to host this march?
You know, I ask myself that some mornings. What is on my mind when I decide to bring 50 presenters, 100 organizations, a 5-day convention? What makes me get into this, my sisters, my love for my people and knowing the challenges we face. And I try to be ambitious or even aggressive in addressing those challenges. I happen to know a lot of black people, a lot of leaders. I know Dr. Cornel West, Dr. Tony Browder, Dr. Boyce Watkins. I know a lot, and I see the challenges that we're facing. So I, as a professional and an organizer, say, well, let me do my part. That's why I want to do this. Let me do my part. I see black men getting killed at the hands of the police. I, as an attorney, Black Lawyers for Justice, I can help with some of that, but it takes many of us. I see that sisters, black women, y'all need better men. You need better men in the community, in your lives. That's fathers. That's the reason. The reason is just a genuine concern about our people, and that causes me to give my all, everything, to doing whatever I can to bring something to them, and to bring this convention specifically that I believe will help. There's specific solutions here that I want to get into today that I think will advance us beyond the average conference and convention.
No, I was just going to say that I know we still hear people that were influenced by the Million Man March. We hear brothers talk about how it's changed their mindset, their way of thinking, their way of living. And I just wanted to ask, for this particular march, what exactly is the goal? What outcome are we hoping to see?
A couple of outcomes. Number one, we're building a united front, a movement of organizations, what Dr. Khalid Muhammad taught me, an organization of organizations. And therefore, when you see 100 organizations coming here for the convention, it represents a body of groups that are available for our general purposes. Now let's get specific. The opening night here with Dr. Tony Browder, Baba Buntu, our educators from South Africa, Professor Griff and others. It's about education on night one. So at the convention, it's about re-educating and defining black manhood for those that come to Shiloh Baptist Church. But also we're introducing on that day an online university that have been waiting to come out, Shabazz University. And so Dr. Cornel West, Dr. Tony Browder, Professor Ashra Kwesi, I'm hoping to get Brother Irritated Genie, others that will teach at Shabazz University. But we are opening up on April the 18th. So we'll have an education system starting, you know, as well as a great gathering of educators and a healing of some sort. There's a lot of infighting going on out there. Let's go to night number 2, the financial night, the economic empowerment night. Dr. Boyce Watkins has just emailed me his draft of a 5-year economic program for black people. I have Dr. Claude Anderson working on one as well, and others working on this. On this day 2 of April 19th of the convention, we are going to be unveiling, probably beforehand, unveiling a 5-year Black National Economic Program that we want us all to collectively sign into and to go by, so we don't just run around with a bunch of different plans. So that's number 2, a 5-year Black National Economic Program. Reparations. On day 5, we have many human rights groups coming together. The American Institute of Human Rights, Dr. Mustafa Al-Ansari. We have Silas Muhammad and his people who are heavily into the United Nations process. So it's going to be all about reparations and preparing for our case collectively to go before the United Nations and world bodies in a way that we have never done it before. That's what we're negotiating right now behind the scenes, so that 100 organizations will come to this convention and on Sunday place a vote, and this vote will decide that we as an entity, as a sovereign people, are declaring that we're nationalizing our interests. There are land rights here. I don't want to get too heavy with you, but there's land, and there's sovereignty, and there's reparations available to us. And we're going to take concrete steps and pass a vote at this convention. So, you know, education, finance, reparations are some of the clear resolutions and outcome that will come from the convention. A united front of organizations fighting along a common front line, and extended and extensive legal services. When you come out of this convention, from Black Lawyers for Justice, legal education nationwide, attorneys, activists able to fight police brutality, I can guarantee that's coming out of this convention. So we're looking for real solid outcomes, not just speeches.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What are you asking of the 10,000 men that you are inviting to come to this conference? What are you asking of them?
I want them to bum rush Donald Trump and grab his behind out of the White House on April the 21st. That's what I want them to do. 10,000 should be enough to bum rush Trump and take him right out of the White House, and that'll end it all.
Yeah, really.
I'm really halfway to you. I really, that would be realistic, but I won't do that because if I get a bunch of people killed, then y'all will blame me. Well, he went. I knew he was going to do it. He went and got everybody killed. 10,000 black men at the White House means that our cause goes before the world. It means that in Lafayette Park, it holds about 2,000 or 3,000. See, I'm not Louis Farrakhan. He's a big guy, right? He can call for 1.5 million. I'm going to stick right in my range, right inside a little Lafayette Park. But I'm happy to be across from the wicked ruler. I'm happy that we are across from Donald Trump. And I'm happy that all of these great activists, including Malcolm X's daughter's coming, Sister Queen Ilyasha Shabazz is coming, James Smalls is coming. Many others are coming. And it's just our national cause, our rally. It is time for us to get our message out to the world. It's time for us to have some momentum and some solidarity. I don't think I can change Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is a devil that cannot be reformed. He's not changing. However, we have a cause for reparations. We have a cause for self-determination. We have a unity, a solidarity we must express, and that's why we've set up a nice stage and all of that at the White House, so that our message will go across the world. The world wants to know, well, what are the black people saying while under Donald Trump? Is it just Maxine Waters that is upset? Is it just somebody else that's upset? What are we doing? Are we begging for Hillary Clinton to come back? Are we looking for another Democrat? Do we have a cause for self-determination that we're able to articulate? So I'm looking for, at the bottom line to it, for 10,000 black men and women to lay definitive plans for self-determination and to give a voice to many of our organizations that need that voice. I'm laboring so that you all will have that voice.
The 10,000 in particular, I know Minister Farrakhan had put out a call about he wanted 10,000 strong black people to go into the communities, the black communities, and to help curtail the violence. Was that at all any influence on how you came up with that specific number for your march?
That's a great question. Minister Louis Farrakhan inspires much of what I do, as I'm one of his sons. And 10,000 Black Men March is a child of the follow-up work of the Million Man March. There's no such thing as in my life of any kind of big black men's effort or marches. It doesn't come from the Million Man March. That's where I learned this from. He did, Minister Farrakhan, put a call out for 10,000 fearless. I take that seriously. And I consider myself to be one of the 10,000 fearless. And that number 10,000 for us does not just mean on the mall that day. I mean, it means at the White House that day. It means 10,000 at the convention. But it also means 10,000 black men that I'm getting to know every day and that we're knowing online and that are all over the world. And we believe that if these 10,000 black men can be gathered now and in the future, and the doctors, the lawyers, the union workers, the laborers, the scientists, the revolutionaries, if we can productively organize 10,000 black men, that would be a service to our people. And I believe that administratively I have, that capacity. So, whether it's 10,000 on that day or it's 10,000 that we are now gathering, they're emailing and texting us every day, we do have a base of 10,000 men that will help. That will help get this job done. I don't claim or pretend to have the ultimate answers or to try to be the big next man and all of that some people are saying. All I'm saying is that this is a sincere and humble effort to help our people and help get the black man up off of his feet. And this is a convention and a march that you all can use. It's something for the black people to use for our advantage.
If you're just joining us, we are having a conversation with the attorney, Malik Zulu Shabazz, pertaining to his upcoming 10,000 Black Men's March. If you have any questions for the attorney, call in. Our hotline number is 240-455-5934. Again, 240-455-5934.
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned that there is a lot of infighting going on right now, and it is done sort of on a public platform and for all the world to see. And so there are some of us that are, if we're not disgusted, we're discouraged. And so what would you say are the major factors that are kind of blocking the unity that can happen, that's possible within the conscious community?
The conscious community has to know where it's going. Conscious community oftentimes is meandering and wandering, and therefore infighting becomes the subject inside of what we call the black conscious community. So we see a lot of cuss outs online and antagonism. I think the conscious community, or the who's that represent the red, black, and green, need to be clear about where they're going. There needs to be more unity and concrete agreements between the forces in the red, black, and green community, or the black conscious community. So we aim to, with this convention, to make sense out of what we call black nationalism and Pan-Africanism and show the people that it makes practical sense. It makes sense to you. It makes sense to your family. It makes sense to our children. It has an education agenda. It has an economic agenda. It's fighting for reparations. So I do say, and I will say, that I'm here to help shore up some credibility in the conscious community, because in many instances it has gone crazy. Now, on the first night of the convention, Wednesday, April the 18th, at Shiloh Baptist Church, you can go to blackmensconvention.org for the details. But you have a real chematologist. You have a real man from Kemet, Dr. Tony Browder. And you have that he can represent this science and this great high and noble and divine teaching without defaming it, as others have. Many are coming in the name of Kemet in Africa and defaming it, just mixing that which is profane, which is that which we know is profound. When we would talk about Dr. Tony Browder, we would talk about Dr. Asa Hilliard, we would talk about Dr. Naeem Akbar, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and others. We would talk high and divine scholarship. And we will return to that on the opening night of the convention to restore credibility in the conscious community, bring about sensible alliances. Now, we do have to debate sometimes. There are subjects. But we want to debate, I would say, as the Quran says, in the best of manner, in a civilized manner. We may disagree on policy.
Right.
We may disagree on practices. But we don't want to get down to either cussing each other out or threatening to kill each other over ideological differences.
But why do you think that is the case, though? Why do you think there's so much infighting going on right now? What is the underlying reason for that?
Well, we can't get at the real enemy. See, and what we're talking about white supremacy, but we're not taking down those in the Anti-Defamation League. We're not taking down those that are in the sheriff's department. We're not taking down the white structure that is really ruining our lives. So what are we tempted to do? We're going to beat on each other. You know, a man might be, or a husband might be in a home and he's frustrated with what's happening on the job and his power in society. Whose mouth is he might be living in when he get home? He might be living in your mouth, unfortunately. He's taking his frustration out on his family, his wife, his brother or sister. So we're sitting here fighting amongst each other because we all know we haven't achieved the real goals of either taking on the real enemy or building what we need to be putting our energy to. So it's easy for me and you to get down into these squabbles and fights.
But wouldn't it be easier if the same husband, because I totally, completely agree with you on that the real enemy seems to be unreachable to us, and so we turn on each other. But the analogy you gave with the husband coming home and beating the wife, but if that husband no longer needed that boss for that particular job to put food in his mouth, wouldn't that look different?
Yes, I mean much of our frustration is from a lack of empowerment, and from a lack of achieving the things that we talk about. So we ended up getting distracted by fighting each other. So again, we're focusing here on the tough objectives. I mean, these things are tough. You're talking about an economic plan for black people. That's real work, and it's not going to be done by fighting each other. Reparations is not going to take place by either talking or merely making videos. It's real work and labor in this, and I think that's what we got to sober up to.
So
we got to get down there. We got work to do.
I agree. It's hard work. Should some of us probably come into this with the mindset that we may not even see its complete fruition in our generation, and be working for the future generations that are to follow? Because sometimes it's almost like we live in a microwave society and we want everything to happen now. And you see amongst black people often that we get so discouraged very, very early in the fight. You know, it's like 2 years in and we're like, well, we've been doing this a long time. A 2-year-old is a baby to me, you know. And so should some of us be coming into it with the mindset that whether I see it now or my children see it, I want to make sure that I'm a part of making sure that comes to fruition? We come in with that mindset? You
have to be patient. We must be patient. And then those that are in leadership must be aggressive in terms of satisfying the people's desires for liberation. So you see, at this point in time, we've been waiting a lot. And even when we can't ask people to wait forever. We have to be patient, but you should know, like if you're just coming into the movement, that your leadership is taking you somewhere. So these are the burdens that I bear. This is the burdens that I guess our other leaders, share. That we have to make we have to make constructive use of our movement, constructive use of your time, constructive use of you coming to these meetings and conferences and engagements, so that you can see the struggle. Going where it needs to go. So, I'm happy to accept the burden. I want y'all to look carefully at what we're doing at the National Black Men Convention in March, and look carefully at the work of Malik Shabazz and others, the new Black Panther Party and the others. And we should be asked the question, well, what is your program? What are you doing? Where are you taking us? How far are you going? I'm willing to accept that burden at this time, because we got to move faster. We can't just keep doing the same thing we've been doing for decade after decade.
It's not working.
What do you say to those who say, I'm tired of marching. We've been marching forever, and that gets us nowhere. And, or what do you say to those who...
We could say, I'm tired of going on the radio. We've been on the radio forever. We ain't got nowhere. I'm tired of meeting. I saw that Dr. Khalid Muhammad, good celebration here, was hosted here by Irritated Genie here. You could say, I'm tired of going to these Irritated Genie meetings and around. Hey, we've been doing that forever. You could say that almost about anything. Now let's lose a point of reference. in Germany, in between the years of 1924 and 1933, Adolf Hitler, you know how many marches he had? He had thousands of marches. Not that I'm endorsing him, but I got to just as a parallel we need to study. He marched all the time, every day. He marched his way till he built up his party, his organization, won the presidency, and established raised his nation up, Germany, from the grave. It's not the marching. Marching is an activity. It's what you do with it. If we have a march and you get 1 million people, just say 2 million, but you don't collectively use them, then you're going to meet some dissatisfaction. You see what I mean? So it's not the mobilization, it's the organization on the mobilization. If we have rallies and meetings and we go, oh, you know, I feel good, I had a big crowd, oh, I made a great speech, I got 9,000 YouTube hits, or oh, you know, then of course, nothing we do is going to bear fruit. So marching is fine to me. Marching is necessary. It builds momentum. It gets a message out. It inspires people. It brings us together. And then we must continue to work the objectives of the march. See, we plan on marching out of here where? To a process where reparations will be achieved. We'll be trying to, marching out of here to what? A 5-year black economic program. Marching out of here to what? 10,000 black men productively organized in our community. So I understand people being cynical about marching, and all we can say is keep watch. We aim to reverse what has happened in the past. We have had too many marches where there has not been enough follow-up. You know, but also, to be fair, the Million Man March, here we are following up. We are the products and the helpers in the Million Man March. And we were told to continue to help in our community. 23 years later, we right here. You know, so we cannot say that march was a waste. You know, people criticize it, but a lot of good things come out of it. Maybe not all of it. You know, so we bear our burdens. I bear a burden of showing that this march and this convention will be different than those in the past. I accept that challenge.
Okay. You're an attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
How does your well, I guess it wouldn't be considered a personal life because you're very prevalent in the public eye. But how does you being an attorney affect your role as being an activist as well, or does it? Does it make it more difficult for you when you're trying cases and things?
That's an excellent question. Being an activist affects me being an attorney to just puts a strain on my time, you know. Many times I want to just do my law practice, and much of my law practice helps my people. I got wrongful death cases in several states, police killing cases, jail killing cases. If I wanted to take all my time and not do any activism, any conventions, I would be well justified in doing that. However, because there's a political and organizational gap in my community, I find myself wearing two hats. Now, if you want to ask the question, well, me being an attorney, if I represent somebody, does me being Malik Zulu Shabazz, does that help me or does it hurt me? I had to say it helps me. My phone rings off the hook. I get a lot of clients that call. I got so many clients that I cannot return all of their calls or take all of their cases.
Would you consider yourself a civil rights attorney?
Yes and no. I consider myself a human rights attorney, that I have civil rights as a part of my practice, because parts of this is constitutional law. I consider myself a victims' rights attorney. I just represent a variety of victims and a human rights attorney. What I want to do is encourage the black professional to take a stand and not be conservative, because I would say that I've succeeded. I would like the black professional and the attorney to not cower away from the movement for personal interest. I would say that I benefited more being a radical. I benefited more. I go into the federal courts of America, I go into judges, and they respect me. And it's about the work. It's about the quality of the work. I go in front of juries of all races. I argue cases in front of juries and won jury verdicts in front of juries of all races, majority white. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? I wouldn't turn away from the stance for racial justice at all. You know, as a matter of fact, being in the movement and doing what I do, to an extent, make me more effective, especially from the public speaking and the argumentative standpoint. When I get ready to go in and make an argument, or I'm persuasive. Trust me. I am more persuasive than the average attorney when it comes to what I'm doing, because I've been speaking and communicating with people so long. It's not a rare instance when I have to come in front of a jury and speak in front of somebody. I speak in front of our people and our people all the time. So to say what I have done it another way, I have to just choose my path, you know. Only thing I say I would do maybe different is free up some of my time more. But I know that black people needed me in this time. So
I know you mentioned earlier, just briefly in passing, that a part of why you do what you do with this march specifically, that us as black women, we need good brothers.
Yes.
And so I would like to ask, what part do we play in not just the unification of the black community as a whole, but when these events come up in future, like what part do you see the black woman playing? Okay,
well, let's talk about what role she's going to play at the National Black Men's Convention. There are many sisters and black women that are speaking and participating, and they'll be in the room with us also. As again I said, the daughter of Malcolm X, Malik Zulu Shabazz, is coming. We want to embrace her and treat her kindly and warmly. She's been through a lot in terms of her family, her father, and her mother. And it's very special for us to have members of the Shabazz family come and to be amongst us, because it's been a rough ride for them. And so she's coming. That's a part of our healing. There are different sisters that are speaking at the workshops and at the convention, and we want you all to come. Bring your sons, your nephews, your husbands, your uncles. You all come and just show that there is a black woman on the scene that supports black men. You know, there's a lot of the feminist agenda, and there's a lot of anti-black men talk, and people don't believe that there's sisters like you all that earnestly want to see the black man on his feet. So we want y'all to come. We want y'all to ask questions. Some of you all are teaching. Some of you all are in workshops, and it's still being decided right now. So you all are heavily involved in this. And I must be honest, with sisters like Amy Jen and Reverend Jeanette Pollard and others, I have to be honest, the black women are running the Black Men's Convention. We're trying to get the black man up to handle his affairs. But don't be mistaken about it. Every morning, all day, all night, who was running all of the permits, the facilities, the tickets, the advertising, the radio, the streets, the soldiers, is sisters. You all are ahead of us. And we're asking you to be patient. We know you need more men. We need more men, not only in your professional lives, you need them in your personal lives.
Now, you guys have plans, we talked a little about it earlier, to go to the White House.
Yes.
So what are you asking anything of Donald Trump in specifically? Or what is your message to the president?
That is very good, because it's an honor for me to deliver a message to the President of the United States. You know, he has such a big mouth and a foul mouth, and he talks so strong like he's the big guy on the block. So I wanted to introduce him to a mouth and some mouths that are bigger than his and stronger than his. You know, I mean, just on a straight up level, somebody needs to go down there and bless his behind out. Do you hear what I'm saying? Somebody need to go down there and talk stronger to his little toupee wearing behind, stronger than he has ever been talked to before in his life, and shock his behind. And that's what we're going to do, deliver a message to him that he has never heard. Because most of the time, what is Trump hearing? People complaining, don't talk about me so bad, please. You know, so number one, he's going to meet a new kind of black people and black man down there. that is going to speak some truth about him and America and American history that he's never seen before. If I have to ask Donald Trump for anything, it is reparations for our people. We don't want you to apologize. We want a piece of this territory that we can call our own. We want reparations. We don't want to beg you for civil rights, beg you for anything. You give us what you owe us.
That's right.
So we plan on laying a gauntlet down in America. That these kind of black people that are coming here don't want anything from you. All we want is justice. We want land and a territory of our own. We want reparations and self-determination. We denounce your racism, your support of a police department that's killing us on a daily basis. And, you know, and we must also say that if law enforcement does not stop killing us, that they are going to be killed across America. I've already read the forecast. If law enforcement, again, has already happened over the last few years. If law enforcement continues to kill us under Donald Trump the way they have been killing us, law enforcement is going to start being killed across America. I don't have anything to do with it, but I can read the forecast and read the weather. You know, so we need to let Donald Trump know either he get control of his forces or war is going to break out here on the streets of America.
Okay, I love it. I love it. If you guys are joining us, we are here again with the attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. Call-in hotline number is 240-455-5934. What we're going to do right now is going to jump briefly into some promotions and give you guys some information on what's going on here coming up at Everlasting Life Vegan Restaurant and Lounge located at 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Children's Night each and every Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m. You can bring the children, any 12 and under, as long as they're accompanied by an adult. They eat free. Not only do they eat free, but they enjoy themselves with a lot of different children that also comes out. So come on for crafts and activities and fun games for the children each and every Thursday here at Everlasting Life. The next event we have coming up is the dinner and a movie that follows Children's Night on Friday. So from 7 to 9 p.m. we take the lounge area and we convert it into a movie theater. And we air different impactful movies and documentaries that affect us as a people. And we do this, a lot of information we share is that you don't readily hear and see in the mainstream. And we do that deliberately. So tonight's movie, thank you. Tonight's movie with paying a tribute to the beloved Winnie Mandela. So we'll be airing a documentary of hers and come hear the words from her own mouth, her own words. So it's an impactful documentary. A lot of things that we don't know, we haven't had privy to up until now. So come join us. That starts at 7 p.m. Movie nights are always free. And a discussion follows. The next thing we have coming up following that is this Saturday, tomorrow, from 12 to 6 p.m., our Black Wall Street Renaissance, every first Saturday of the month. We take the dining in area, we fill it with vendors, so you have a good time to come out and shop with different local craft vendors, and then we air a different lecture series every month. This month is Garth Vickers, How to Strategically Invest in Yourself. If you're not familiar with this brother, he's a powerful, dynamic speaker, best-selling author, and a whole host of other things. And he'll be sharing his information with us on economically. How do we build ourselves economically? So come join us for that this Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m. The next event is Game Night. So this is a fun night on the agenda. Every Sunday we host Game Night, but then we do a themed night one time out of the month. So our theme this month on the 22nd of April, that's Sunday from 3 to 7 p.m. is Hip Hop Musical Chairs. What you know about musical chairs?
I know something about that. I know it's been some years, but I know something about that.
Yeah, so we do it for break out the chairs. We're gonna have a really good time. We're gonna do it hip hop style. So come on, all you big kids out there, come join us for game night. Again, that's Sunday, April the 22nd from 3 to 7 p.m. and it's always free. Marketplace every third Saturday of the month. So if you are in the market for some healthy food, herbs and spices, natural supplements or anything of that nature, join us from 11 to 4 p.m. every third Saturday of the month. Fresh vegetables and all that. And if you have any of those things that you're looking to sell to the general public, contact us. We'd love to have you as one of our vendors at the marketplace. eLife Broadcasting. So if you see what we're doing here and you're out there and you're watching and you think that you have a strong voice that needs to be heard on a wider spectrum, contact us here at eLife Studios. We'd love to host you, and we're looking for individuals in front of the camera as well as behind the camera. So if you have any experience in broadcasting, come give us a call here at eLife Studios. Information is on the flyer.
All right.
Malik's Fashions, Jewelry and Accessories, that's yours truly. I'm here 4 days a week right in the lounge area. You can come and be adorned with all types of beautiful accessories. Come see me Wednesdays through Friday from 3 to 9 p.m. All right, so let's hop
You know
right
what's
back.
good? You know what's, can I say something? You know what's
Sure.
really good?
Yes, sir.
It's good to see everlasting life still going.
Oh, yeah.
When I
22
first
years.
started, it's more longer than
counting.
that. It got to be longer than that. It has to be longer than that. I remember it in 1988.
Georgia
As
Avenue.
Georgia Avenue, as a college student, and with the height of the Hebrew Israelite movement and Rabbi Ben Ami and others, it's still good to see it going today. To see Brother Baruch going today, and to see you up in here
Yeah.
going like that, and you know, that's very good. And to see that it's broader than just the Israelites.
Yes, this is definitely a culture hub.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is actually an example of what our people should be doing. You have food here, business relations, and you have broadcasting and education going.
Right.
This is actually what we're trying to do.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about the Book of Khalid.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Well, we have to laugh because it's a controversial book,
It
you know, and it's
is.
going to be controversial. I don't see why it has to be so controversial, but it is the teachings, the ideology, and it is the story of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, who he was, what he taught, and what his life is about. And it's been trying to put this thing together for some time, and Volume 1 is coming out in May. And it just tells his story from his perspective. It stands up for him and explains him and his mindset, his feelings, his thoughts, his teachings.
So those
And,
who are out there that are watching who may not know the relationship that you have
With Dr. Muhammad,
yes.
Dr.
Why are you best qualified to write a book?
because I was
In his
there.
honor.
I was there because I was his assistant, his student organizer, his attorney, his Million Youth March organizer, his national spokesman for a period of 13 years. I was with Dr. Muhammad in his toughest times. I was with him in bringing him to Howard University at the height of his Nation of Islam days. I was with him when he was suspended from the Nation of Islam. I was with him when he had a lot of security. I was with him when I had to do security and he had no security. I was there when he was happy. I was there when he cried. I was there when he was up. I was there when he was down. I was there when he needed me. I organized for him major rallies and Phil Donahue, all that stuff you see. Pardon me, all those key moves he made you see. I and Brother Hashim and Zinga were a part of that. So that's why my book and other books are coming out for Dr. Muhammad. You know, that there is, some resistance because some of his history is controversial. Some of his history does contain a split between him and his teacher, his mentor, Minister Louis Farrakhan. But you know, at some point in time, his history has to be told. And it is not so that we have a big argument and fall out. It is so that we can look at our history and see how we can walk better in the future by examining our history as it is most qualified to reward our research.
I want to ask you about that, your relationship with the Nation of Islam.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're not a member of the nation, correct?
That's not in the specific Nation of Islam. No, we're all members of the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
I would
That's-
be
I
a
think you
card
go by
carrying
that.
member.
Card
A
carrying.
I think
card
you go by
carrying.
that. I think you go by that philosophy. You are a Nation of Islam
I'm asking the
member
question.
unofficially.
Pretty much. A card carrying member, perhaps. I don't know.
Card carrying. I mean, no, I'm not a current registered member in the
Okay.
Nation of Islam because I've gone on to head the new Black Panther Party for 13 years, and I'm head of my own organizations. I have had an alliance with the Nation of Islam. Though many years ago, briefly had joined and studied under Dr. Muhammad when he was the supreme captain. My relationship with the Nation of Islam goes all the way to the top. It goes to a close, tight, sometimes father and son relationship with Minister Louis Farrakhan. I've been to his home many times. I've served in different projects with him at many times. He's like a spiritual father to me. Dr. Khalid Muhammad is my mentor. He's also a father figure to me and like my big brother. So if I'm writing a book, you have to understand I come from a unique experience. I come from my experiences with Dr. Khalid Muhammad and his father. And so when I'm getting the book out of my system and out of me, I'm getting part of that relationship and conflict out of me. You know, the good parts and the bad parts. And so it just is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I respect the Nation of Islam, and I respect what they're trying to do for our people. I try to keep as good relations with them as possible, but I cannot sacrifice Dr. Khalid Muhammad's history for nobody. I'm not going to do that any longer.
Well, why do you think? Because from the outside looking in, because I follow a lot of what you do. And it appears to me, now correct me if I'm wrong.
It's all right.
It appears to me that you have a conflicting relationship with a lot of the members of the nation. Sometimes I see where they're swarming in against something that you may have said publicly, and then other times I see where they're in your corner. Yes. Encouraging you and rah-rahing you.
Now you're talking.
So, but why do you think that conflict is there, so prevalent?
Well, why was it there with Khalid Muhammad? It's the same question. The Nation of Islam loves Khalid Muhammad. I mean, he had extreme love where I went. I mean, zealous love for Khalid Muhammad. And then you go online sometimes and they'll call Dr. Khalid Muhammad a Judas or a hypocrite or an enemy. What it is ideology. Where we come into conflict really is not. It's ideology. Like if I hold a hardline ideology, Malik Shabazz and Dr. Khalid Muhammad, if we say that just hardline, that we don't affiliate with no other white groups, that we ain't gonna have no pact with them, no alliance, they can't come in our meetings. Therefore, I'll be made the bad guy, right? If I hold a hard line like that, and just say the Nation of Islam might take a different line. They might say, well, we're not going to hold a hard line like that. And then if I hold a hard line, like if I say, well, like I can't deal, like if I say, well, I'm against, say, Scientology or Dianetics, I'm not going to do that, and we don't engage in that. And if I say Khalid Muhammad was against that, I'll be made the bad guy. But really all I'm doing is articulating a principle that I learned from the Nation of Islam. They taught me not to have any integrated relationships with white groups. Can I be honest on this show?
Yes, sir.
They taught me that the white man is the devil. So if I come back and still 30 years later keep saying and teaching what I taught, and then how am I made the bad guy when I'm giving you back what you taught me? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, if I say I got into it with him the other week about just the whole Congress suspension thing, and I went to Congress to defend Louis Farrakhan, honestly. I mean, like, we have resolutions that we're sending to Congress people right now trying to get them to condemn Trump and not Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan deserved that defense. I got jumped on because I raised the question, well, also, didn't Khalid Muhammad deserve that defense? When he got into it with whites and Jews and all that, well, I made the bad guy, right? But I don't mind being made, because my moral conscience, sister, is going to cause me to speak up sometimes, even if it's unpopular. Morally, I must speak up. You know, I must speak up. I have to speak up for Khalid Muhammad. They say, well, it's not a good time. Leave his stuff alone. Well, you know, but morally, I have to do it, even if I'm hated. I'm not trying to start stuff with them. But I mean, it is what it is. It just is what it is, man. I'm not going to be ducking and tucking my tail from my mentor. I held off for 17 years from telling his story, right? 17 years. I said, well, you know, if I bring his book out, it's going to have to talk about this, have to talk about that. This one won't like it, or that one won't like it. After a while, I just say, man, let God will be done. We will work it out. Some in the Nation of Islam will be hollering. Edward X is what's his name? Edward Ford. He's gonna holler and scream. He's gonna holler and scream every day.
People out.
He's gonna holler and scream every day. But ultimately, they are going to reach the conclusion that whatever we're saying, or whatever Muhammad was saying, and whatever I'm saying, it's from them. It has a basis in their lessons. They taught us this. And so I might be on the scene as a reminder.
Okay. Well, again, family, we're talking to attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz about his upcoming March 10,000 Black Men's Convention. If you want to call in, the number is 240-455-5934. We do have a caller on the line. Caller number area code 919. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yes, sir. What's your question or comment?
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all for doing what y'all are doing and having the voice and the courage to be able to go on a network like Facebook and put what you're saying out without any fear of reprisal or anything. So I want to thank y'all for that first. I wanted to say a few things. I want to touch on a few things. I don't want to take too much time, but I want to thank y'all for doing the Winnie Mandela thing, because I was studying some of that and I'm still learning. And I just want to make a comment about that, like just from what I'm learning about the apartheid situation and what happened between her and Nelson Mandela. And I feel like the media hasn't been giving her just due, and she just died, and it's like it's not enough on TV and mass media telling her story, because it's like, from what I've learned, she, like, when he went to prison for those 27 years, she held down that whole movement. Like, she didn't have to keep fighting that movement when he went away for 27 years, and she held it down furiously, you know what I mean? And regardless of what people say, allegedly she slept with this person or did this or whatever, but when he came back home, after she held it down for all those years, then he go do a deal with the devil and don't even take her with him. I was very disappointed by that, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, because I feel like she's not getting her just due. Because anytime somebody go away for that long and you hold down a movement, like, you got to show some respect to that. You can't
Yeah,
just
we
come
definitely
out
agree with you there, brother. And thank you so much for that comment about Winnie Mandela. Yeah, I mean, you know, she never did get her just due in the media. So, like so many of our freedom fighters, you can attest to that.
Amen. Amen. Sister Winnie Mandela is a true revolutionary. If we read the history of the anti-apartheid movement, I don't care what they say, she should be at the top of it.
That's right.
She's a true freedom fighter. While
right.
Nelson Mandela was locked down, she went to
president.
war out there. I agree with that also. She was hard on Uncle Tom's when they were necklacing Uncle Tom's, but that she needed to be that way. I really love Sister Winnie Mandela.
Yeah.
And her name should be lifted up high in history.
Yeah.
It is true that when Nelson Mandela got out of jail, he dissed Winnie Mandela. And at ANC, African National Congress dissed Sister Winnie Mandela as they were trying to reconcile with whites. Yeah. And now today in South Africa, you see that much of what the ANC has done has met dissatisfaction, and the people are now moving in a more revolutionary direction. They want their land back. They want back which was not negotiated by Mr. Mandela. Yeah. So I say honor Sister Winnie Mandela. Honor her. Yeah, I'm hurt because when I was in South Africa twice and once, I couldn't get to see her. I could have got to see her, but tribalism prevented me from seeing her. One group that I was with didn't want me to meet with her because they didn't want me to line up with her, or for me to look like that I was supporting her because they were rivals with them. And I was right around the corner from Winnie Mandela, and I was stopped due to what I call tribalism. But still, which is a problem. Still, man, we should lift her name up high. She's the real hero. I'm not here to necessarily diss Mr. Mandela,
Right.
but I want to say Winnie Mandela is the true revolutionary of the two.
Yeah, I agree. And this documentary will shed a whole lot of light on a whole lot of things that we don't even hear about. From her own voice, as for instance, Bishop Tutu. I'm not going to give it away, but she had some very strong words to share about his character, and I found that interesting when I listened.
What'd she say?
She said she's not
Come
gonna give
watch
it
the movie. Come watch the movie.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say about that. Yeah. So going back to the tribalism.
Tribalism.
We have that in our own community.
Right.
Amen. Yes, we do.
Right
Amen.
now.
Right. Yeah.
And what do you see is like the greatest pushback from you achieving what you're looking to set out to do? What's your hardest pushback you're getting?
I would say right now we're being successful because if we talk about tribalism, the mere fact that I have probably the largest cross section of black leaders that we can trust, that are uncompromising, coming together in a while. So even though that there is tribalism, this is a convention, the National Black Men Convention at Shiloh Baptist Church is a witness that tribalism can end. We have the new Black Panther Party coming together with the Nation of Islam under Minister Louis Farrakhan. His people will be there. The Honorable Silas Muhammad, he has a Nation of Islam. They are going to be there. The children of Malcolm X are going to be there. The various communities, the Christian community is going to be there. So I can say that there is a solution and an answer to tribalism. I feel like I'm the man that really can help put an end to a lot of the tribalism because I know the parties and I know the players. And because I've been around for a while, I can make a call. I'm blessed to be able to make a call, and a lot of these brothers and sisters are coming on their own dime and their own time out of the relationship that we built. So although there is tribalism, I'm trying to promote sensibilism to show that we can come together and do something constructive. And I'm striving for that every day to make the outcomes and the resolution of this convention something that you can say is constructive and defeated tribalism. I guess what we try to do is, we try to keep the friction down as best we can. As I be getting into some friction.
Oh yeah.
But as best we can, But even the stuff I get into, like say I get into it with some in the Nation of Islam. But overall, my love for Louis Farrakhan, see, it's always going to come across. Even if we have a little side spat, at the end of the day, my love is going to come across because I understand that our people must pull together. So.
Okay, well we got
to go. We got
another call.
Oh, we got another call. Sure.
We got another caller that comes in. Caller 808, are you there? Caller? Hello, caller? Okay, well maybe they not there.
Greetings.
Oh, okay, then you are.
Hey.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Malik, and greetings to the sisters. This is Brother Jaja Malik. And I just had a quick question and a comment. I mean, obviously I didn't have the long-term relationship with Dr. Khalid like Brother Malik, but I did have the privilege to open up for him when he came and spoke, I think it was in 1996 at San Diego State University. And I was, really touched by him over that couple of days that we were with him, and he's definitely someone that we need to remember and honor. So I give mad props to Brother Malik for putting together the book and everything. So my quick question was, with Brother Malik, for as it pertains to the book, is the only distribution of the book, would that be just online or pre-order through you? Would it be available in Amazon and
it's going to be
Barnes and
available.
Nobles? Can you basically, because right now I'm over in Abuja in Nigeria, but I'm heading back to the States soon. But I just wanted to know for some of the brothers and sisters that I met over here, for that are overseas, what would be the process if they wanted to get the book?
Yes.
And
Right.
from there. So
That's a great
that's my
question. Stay tuned to my Facebook page at Malik Zulu Shabazz, and also the Facebook page Book of Khalid Volume 1. The book will be available for online ordering on May 19th, Malcolm's birthday. And as the book comes out, it's going to be available in all those sources. Amazon, all of those wide sources. I'm working with some publishers now. I'm working with Brother Vibert White, who put out the book Inside the Nation of Islam. He put that out in the 90s. I think he told me the other night he had sold 800,000 of these books to universities and throughout. So they're helping me now. I got others and professionals, Hakeem Mahabuti and the press, and people that are going to make sure that this is everywhere. It's going to be available hard copy. It's 8 by 11, like 550 pages, volume 1, and volume 2 coming after that. And then it's going to be online PDF, and it's going to be everywhere, like books are everywhere, you know.
Okay.
So as soon as I get out of the convention stage and everybody else is following up, then I'm all author. I'm all author to finish this out.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap this discussion up, but I know you
Yes.
had some last-minute
Yeah.
parting things you wanted to share.
Yeah,
But
sure.
before you do that, I
Sure.
do have one last question
Yes.
pertaining to police brutality.
Sure.
What advice can you give to brothers in particular? I know we all suffer from it, but brothers in particular, if and when they're getting stopped by the police, is there anything that we could be doing ourselves on our end to curtail some of the violence that's taking place?
Sure, that's a great question. That's part of the curriculum at Shabazz University coming out of the convention. I'm going to teach every Monday night legal rights classes at Black Lawyers for Justice and Shabazz University. On Monday nights I'm going to teach. I'm going to give you a word on that. That's part of the services we offer. Yes, there's much more that we can do and should do in the war against police abuse. You have to approach the police like a soldier. You have to know that you are on enemy terrain and that you are an enemy combatant. Many times when you're facing the police departments of America as a black male. So your knowledge of your Second Amendment rights, your knowledge of your Fourth Amendment rights, your rights that protect you against illegal searches and seizures, unreasonable detainments. All of these are valuable pieces of knowledge that you can give to the police so they'll know you know what you're talking about. I have a book called What Black People Need to Know When Dealing with the Police that's available at the convention, going to be available online. I'll be happy when I finish this because I want to offer these services. When you're handling the police, you have to be, it's no disrespect for a soldier to handle another soldier like a soldier. You see what I mean? It's even though I may be facing a police officer that I don't like, it's not bad for me to address the officer as sir, and to address him in a professional manner, and to show him my ID and so forth. But then you don't have to go for it. May I search your vehicle? Can I search your vehicle? No, there's a way to stand up like a man legally and say, no, sir, you cannot search my vehicle. Matter of fact, I advise don't let any police search your vehicle. We don't care if you don't have anything in your car.
Right.
Don't let the police search your vehicle. Your Miranda rights, your rights to remain silent when facing arrest.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us don't.
I teach a workshop on Friday. At Friday at the convention, I teach the workshop on police training. You don't have to speak to the police when arrested. You don't have to speak to the police at all. You don't have to speak to the police even when being detained. You know, so there are different rules. There's a stop, there's a detainment, there's an arrest. There's no duty to speak to the police in any capacity during those 3 times, a stop or a detainment or an arrest. All of these things the black male and the black man needs to know. And I hope my app will be out in a couple weeks so that we can just pull this up on the computer and know it. But in a word, man, we have to be little lawyers. We have to know the law. You want to be respectful and dignified, you know, as best you can with the police, but you want to be firm.
Right.
There's a lot we could do to cut down on the incidents, but there's a lot we could do to be firmer.
Yeah.
And let the police know, man, these people are waking up. I can't do what I used to do to them out here in these streets.
Right, okay. And then
The last, I want to say thank you so much for having me on. It's up here in Wakanda. I'm inside Wakanda. And I'm blessed to be up in here. And the National Black Men Convention, go to blackmensconvention.org. It is a 5-day convention with Dr. Cornell West, Dr. Tony Browder, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Professor Griff, Mike Roberts, Brother Baruch is teaching. You'll be there trying to get you on the mic so you can talk to the black man and give your opinions. We know you have a lot to say. You have been invited. It's at Shiloh Baptist Church, Wednesday the 18th, Thursday the 19th, Friday the 20th. The march starts gather at 10 a.m. and 12 noon at the White House. 12 noon, we rally against police killing and Donald Trump back at Shiloh Church for the Sunday from 3 p.m. on. That's what we have to offer, and much more as we see it coming out of it. The university, legal services, reparations effort, and a 5-year economic program. That's what we offer. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right, family. Well, that is our Empower Hour. And again, this was attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. So if you're interested in more information, definitely join the website that he has on blackmensmovement.org
and blackmensconvention.org. But the whole family's welcome. The sisters, mothers, look, get those men out of the bed and drag those men here. Drag those young men here. Trust me. And see, since they know you're coming, they're likely to be here. She's going to be here. They're going to be here.
Wakanda,
so you must Wakanda. Real Wakanda is going to be up in here. Y'all want to be like me, right? You want to be sitting there with 2 beautiful young ladies, right? If you want to be like me, come to the National Black Men Convention. Very simple.
Thank you, family, for joining us for another impactful discussion. We'll be right back with you Wednesday, our normal time from 2 to 3 p.m. Share the information, and if you'd like to join Hanifa and I each and every Wednesday, follow us on Facebook under Empower Hour Talk Show. Take care. Until then, peace.
All right, great.